Hey everyone, Tickle G here, representing those who are 40 and up who love their tech. And this video is going to be a quick video to show you specific emulators that I use on my GPD WIN 2 to play my retro games. Because like I said, for those who are 40 and up, we may try to play some of the newer games. And yeah, some of them are enjoyable. But we know deep down inside, we love to play our retro games because those are the games that we grew up to. And they're still as exciting as they were when we played them as kids. Especially for those of you who are Sega Genesis heads, Revenge of Shinobi. You know, hands down, is still one of the top 10 games in the world for any system. That game was epic. So like I said, to carry on the tradition of playing retro games, I'm going to show you the specific emulators that I use to play these games. Now, there may be a whole lot of emulators out there, and there may be some that you may choose to use on your GPD WIN 2, and I'm just talking about, just for myself, the specific ones that I like to use. So without further ado, let me show you what they are. Just a quick bit of disclosure. Due to copyright infringement, digital rights and things like that, this video is for educational purposes only. I will not tell you anything that is not good information. So I'm just showing you basically the proof of concept on the emulators being used on the GPD WIN 2. So please don't ask any questions or anything like that. I will not respond to illegal things. So without further ado, now that I got the disclosure out of the way, let me show you the emulators. As far as emulation for the Nintendo 3DS, I use the Citra emulator. And the main reason why I use it is because of this tab right here, emulation. There is a selection here that says cheats. And because of the cheats option, I can manipulate the game so that I can beat the game quicker than normal. Because again, if you're 40 and up, you don't have that kind of time to play, but you still want to play and you still want to beat the game. But since you don't have the time because you're either walking your dog, taking care of your kids, working your job, yada yada yada, you can use this option to get to the game a lot quicker. So this is 3DS, and I'm going to show you a little bit of gameplay. For those of you who love your Nintendo Game Boy Advance games, this emulator here that I use for myself, this one is called Visual Boy Advance, and this is an old school emulator. It's been out for a while, so it basically runs on any computer because it's been made for older computers. So if you have a newer one, it's going to run flawlessly. And the reason why I like this one is because there's a cheats tab, so that you can manipulate the game to play it and beat it quicker than normal. So that's when I use Visual Boy Advance. This emulator here is one of my all-time favorite emulators. This is an emulator that emulates old school arcade games. So if you've been an arcade head like me and you played and you saw the first Street Fighter and you saw someone who knew the movement to do the Hadouken with Ryu, when I first saw that, I think I was maybe 12. That right there changed my whole view of video games forever. And I mean, I loved video games before then, but seeing that particular move, that was just epic. I was never good at the game, but I was just always at the arcade trying to play it. So like I said, this emulator here emulates all those games and then some. So the main emulator for the most part, some of them run in DOS mode, but you can get one that runs in Windows mode, and I believe the one that I have is MAME UI FX64. So if you get this one, runs very nice in Windows mode. In some cases, you may have to manipulate the screen or whatever to stretch it so that it fills up the whole screen, but again, it works great. And this again is the MAME emulator that emulates arcade games. For those of you who like Nintendo 64, such as me, the one that I use is, well, I've been using this one for a while. This one is the Project 64 emulator, and this one's cool because you have cheats on it, so you can play the games, manipulate, play the games, beat the games faster than normal. But the newer ones, or the newer updated ones, what I don't like about this one is that, as you can see here, I have all of my buttons mapped. However, the name of my controller doesn't pop up, and this happens every time I turn off the emulator. So you have to select it here so that these controllers will work with the games. But when you turn it on, let me show you what happens. Now that I have a game running, you saw that I selected my controller. However, when I go to options, actually let me show you this. I select the controller, the buttons and everything is supposed to work, but doesn't work for whatever reason. So what I always have to do is go back to options, go to, oops, not graphics control, or plug-in, you gotta go back to the controller. See, it turned to none again. So you gotta select it again. Maybe part of the reason why is because you can't see the OK. Excuse me while I do this. Oh, there you go. I press OK. Well, I've done that before. Even though when I did it before, it didn't save. So I have to select it every time I play the game. Gotta select it. But this is just proof of concept that it works. And again, this is the Project 64 emulator that runs Nintendo 64 games. And there's a trusty cheat menu. You can select any one you want, beat the game. Happy as a beaver. Happy as something. But there you go. Nintendo 64. This emulator here I use for Nintendo DS games, and this one is the spelled DESMUME. Desmume. And again, this is for the Nintendo DS, and this runs great on pretty much any computer. What makes this cool too is it has a cheats menu so that you can get through your games a lot quicker than usual. This next emulator I use for the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES, is an acronym, and this one is called JNES. Not the most original name, but still cool. And what makes this cool, has cheats, of course, so you can play your games and beat your games. So this is the one I use for Nintendo games. Now, as far as PlayStation 1 games, the emulator that I use, this is a pretty old school emulator that still works great. This one is called the EPSXE emulator, which is totally awesome. And this also has cheat menu and things like that, so that you can get through your games a lot quicker. I do apologize, I cannot show you this emulator in action because I did not configure this one yet. I thought I did, but apparently I didn't, so I have to show you this in another video when I have the time. As far as PlayStation 2 games, well, PS2 is an acronym. The one emulator that I use all the time is the PCSX2 emulator, and this emulator is cool because you can find cheat files in this format, PNAT format, where they can be used for a whole bunch of games. So you can use that. You can even use Codebreaker or I think GameShark. No, I use mainly Codebreaker for this. You can find a Codebreaker ISO, use it on here, and you can cheat using that as well. So this is cool because this is one of the best game systems that was ever created. So to have this in a portable fashion to play all of my games again or play new games that I haven't played yet, this emulator is awesome. And before you say anything, I am in training mode, so that's why my opponent's not fighting back. I'm just showing you how cool this emulator is. What? here with the D-pad. Get that move out. Man, I could play that PlayStation 2 emulator all day, but gotta move on. As far as PSP games, the emulator that I use, and this one is synonymous, PPSSPP. This is the best PSP emulator out there, period, end of story. And like I said, this is just cool. Settings are great. Also has cheat menu so you can beat your games quickly. And this is what I use. So this is, again, for PSP games. Now, this emulator is definitely old school. This is an emulator for the Sega Saturn, an underrated game console. And this was by far the best game that was made for the Sega Saturn, in my opinion. Guardian Heroes. This game, I played the heck out of this game because it has this anime feel, things like that. It's just totally awesome. Love this game, loved it, and I beat it using Han first because I like the warrior class, of course. Yeah, get through it, yada. And like I said, the anime feel was just awesome. Oh no! So the buttons work. I gotta reconfigure the control pad because I had a control pad to the analog stick, but the Sega Saturn did not use analog sticks, so I had to reconfigure for the D-pad. But at least it works because the buttons work, and you can jump up and down to different panels. So you got the back, middle, and front panel, so you can do all that. Like I said, I'm getting hit, but this is proof of concept that the emulator works. So I complete this game, replay this game in all of its glory. So again, this is for Sega Saturn. This emulator here is for one of my definite all-time systems, the Sega Genesis. This is the first system I've ever purchased with my own hard-earned money that I've earned at Wendy's at 16 years old. I remember riding my bike to Toys R Us to get it, and I played the heck out of Ultra Beast because it came with the system. So the Sega Genesis emulator, I play this constantly. And the one that I use, this is a very old school one. Don't know if you can see the name, but the name of it is Gens, G-E-N-S. So since you can't see it, that's why I spelled it for you. And again, this is a very old school emulator, so it's definitely going to work for whatever computer you have. So this, again, is the one I use for a Sega Genesis. This next emulator actually is a multi emulator, or that emulates multi game systems, mainly Sega game systems. So this emulates the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, and Sega 32X. This one is called Fusion. Nice name for the multi-emulator. But I mainly use this one for Sega Master System games. Like I said, I use it for Sega Genesis, but I like the Gens emulator just for Genesis. So like I said, I just mainly use this one for Sega Master System games. For those of you who loved the SNES or Super Nintendo game console, this emulator is for you. This is the one that I personally use. This one is the SNES 9X emulator, and this runs Super Nintendo games. And those games were some of the most fun games I've ever played in my life. So to have this on a handheld device to take with me anywhere I go, especially on vacations, is just awesome. So again, this is the emulator for the Super Nintendo, entitled SNES 9X. And for the definite OGs out there that had the chance to play the TurboGrafx 16, or PC as an engine, the name of it in Japan, this is, I wouldn't say underrated, but not a lot of people bought it. But it did have a couple of good games that came out for it, Legendary Axe and Splatterhouse. Again, this is the TurboGrafx 16. This came out, I think, a little bit after the Super Nintendo. So, like I said, it's just a cool emulator, just another emulator to have for games that you probably never played before. So, definitely get this one. And the emulator that I use for the TurboGrafx is the Magic Engine. Now, there's a couple of other ones out there that are made for it. But from my experience and my testing, this is the best one for the TurboGrafx 16. So definitely get this one. Setting up is pretty easy. I don't have it all configured right now. So if I decide to make another video, I'll show you that. Show you this in action. But for right now, this is the emulator for the TurboGrafx 16. Now for my remaining two emulators, this emulator right here is for the Wii U console, and this emulator is called CEMU, or CEMU, however you want to pronounce it, doesn't make a difference. But this one runs Wii U games very well, especially Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So if you don't have a Switch, but you still want to try out the game, get this emulator. So it works fantastically. So get it, use it, have fun. And this last emulator, actually emulates two Nintendo systems, the Nintendo GameCube and the Nintendo Wii. This is the Dolphin emulator. And this one is slightly modified so it can work on the one systems. I don't have it set up because if I did, my games would be listed here, but I could figure out that. But just know, because it's been out for a while, I think 10 years it's been out. So it's so cool. It runs so well. It's been out for so long. They've even made this for Android devices, so you can use this on your Samsung phones or any phones that run Android, or tablets for that matter. So this is really, really cool. Like I said, it emulates Nintendo GameCube and Nintendo Wii games, so you can play your Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, one of the coolest games I've ever played. I love that game. Still playing that game to this day. So definitely get this emulator when you get a chance. And that right there, my friends, is basically the end of my video, because I've been making this video for a minute. I'm tired right now and gotta help my wife with something, so I gotta end it right now and just let you have at it. So like I said, these are specific emulators that I use for myself. There of course are many others for the game systems that I mentioned, but again, these are just ones that I use that I like, and the main reason why is because most of them have cheat capabilities, so that I can get through the games as quickly as I possibly can and enjoy as many games as I possibly can. So if you like the video, definitely please leave your thumbs up, and in the comment section let me know what you think about these emulators, because hopefully you'll look them up yourself, download them yourself, try them out yourself, and if you do, when you do, leave comments in the comment section about what you think about the emulators that I've chosen, and try out some others as well, and compare and contrast, you know what I'm saying, and leave comments in the comment section for those who watch this video and need to get some more information about the different emulators that are out there, or like I said, just your personal experience with these emulators that you use on your GPD WIN 2. So like I said, if you like the video, definitely give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and tell your friends about my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video.